Okay, we're working on a function that has, instead of letter y, it has function notation as fx. Okay, we already did step 1 and step 2, like the table of values and the graph of the function. Okay, so now we're going to work on step 3. Okay, so remember the formula is fx equals x minus 1. So we're going to work on step 3. So for that, I'm going to put step 3 intercepts. Okay. Remember there are two types of intercepts. One is the x-intercept, and the other one is the y-intercept. Yes? Okay, now something important in here. Remember that we need to put the formula of the exercise to find the intercept, but in this case I'm gonna put the formula of the exercise using letter y. Instead of fx, I'm gonna put letter y. Why? Because both things, they mean the same thing. Okay, either you have y or you have fx, is basically the same thing. In this case I'm worried about using letter y, so I'm gonna put letter y equals x minus 1. Yes, so let's see what happens on the x-intercept. The other letter, which is letter y, is going to be 0 always. So instead of y, I'm going to put 0. 0 equals x minus 1. Okay, and I need to find the answer for this equation. Okay, so what am I going to do? Well, the x is positive. I could pass it negative to the side. It will be minus x equals minus 1. Yes, and then I could pass the minus 1 to divide. X equals minus 1 divided by minus 1. And minus 1 divided by minus 1 will be x equals 1. Okay, now, that's the idea in here, because x is positive. Once you move it to the other side, it will be negative. The 0 is nothing. Like, it's kind of like if there's nothing in there. That's why the 0 technically disappears. And this minus, remember that there's always an invisible 1 in there. So it's like if I have minus 1. So I'm going to pass minus 1 to divide to the other side. Okay. So that's why I am dividing the original minus 1 with the minus 1 that was part of the x. Okay. So once I find x, I'm going to put this answer that I sub x column I sub x is 1 comma 0. Why 1 comma 0? 1, the first number, remember the first number is always x and the second number is y. So the x is the one we just found, is 1, so I'm gonna put 1 instead of the x, and the y is 0 because that's the number that we used. We are always gonna use 0 with letter y on the x-intercept. It's gonna be the opposite way on the y-intercept. So now let's go working with the y-intercept. Okay, so on the y-intercept, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna copy the formula, but instead of fx, I'm gonna use letter y. Yes, so it will be y equals x minus 1. Okay, now because this is y-intercept, the other letter, the other variable, which is x, is gonna be 0. So y is gonna stay like that, and instead of x, I'm gonna put 0. Okay, so in this case it will be very simple to find y. You just need to perform the operation. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Yes, so once you do that, you're gonna have to explain that the y-intercept, or I sub y, is, and using column, I'm gonna put, remember that is x comma y, right? So instead of the x, I'm gonna put the number that I have as x in here. Remember that I changed the x with 0, so it's always gonna be 0. Okay, and instead of y, I'm gonna use the number that I found, so it will be -1. Okay, so that way I have both answers. I have both intercepts, the x-intercept, which is 1, 0, and the y-intercept, which is 0, -1. Those will be the intercepts for our exercise.